Today we are going to learn how to do a single crochet. So for this you are going to need some yarn. I have a worsted waste yarn. I think it is a weight of a 4 or 5, but I believe it's a 4. A 5mm crochet hook, and that is all you are going to need. If you are a beginner, I do recommend using a larger size hook. 5.5 millimeters is my favorite size, truthfully. It just works a lot easier. It fits nicely in my hands, and it's what I'm most comfortable with. So to do a single crochet, what we have to do is you're always going to start with the slip knot. I have a video that just goes over slip knots. Feel free to check that out, but here's a quick demonstration. You're going to take the cut end of your yarn, place it over your fingers, wrap it around, and drop. Pointer finger underneath, thumb on top, drop. Take your thumb, place the yarn up through the hole, put your index finger through that hole. Now take your birdie finger, your bad finger, and kind of grab it and hold it on the back side of your pointer finger, just like that. Move your pointer finger and pull opposite directions. From here, you can adjust the loop by the working yarn. So once we have created a slip knot, right, we are going to do the chain. Now the chain, you simply yarn over your hook. I like to grab the tail from my slip knot and kind of pull down, give it some tension, and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through a loop. Again, yarn over, pull it through your loop, over, and pull through. I also have another video that just goes over chains if you'd like to check that out if this is moving a little too quickly for you. But you just yarn over and pull through your loop, yarn over, pull through your loop, yarn over, pull through your loop. The nice thing about single crochets is you do not have to have any kind of multiples. You can do whatever number you want and you will be fine. So yarn over and pull through a loop. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so now that you have your chain, now from here you have your front loops and your back loops. So you have, like I said, you have the front of your chain, and then you have the back of your chain, and then you have this little bump in the back. Personally, I like to work in the bump in the back for my chains. That way it provides me with this really, really pretty edge, finished edge at the end of my project. So to do the single crochet, once you have your chain, right, you need to insert your hook. So you can insert it into just this top one right here. You can insert it through this back one right here. And that's the one I'm going to be working in, is these back bumps. So you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through both. Okay, let's do that again. So you see this back loop right here? We're going to insert it underneath that back loop, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw up 2. The next one, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Insert it into the back hook loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. There's your next loop, yarn, stick it through, over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Insert. And here's our last one. So we're going to insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both. So you have successfully completed a single crochet, a whole row of single crochets. So this is the top that we just worked. And as you can see, how the top has those V's, and now that chain, this is why I work in the chain, in that back loop, in that bottom bump of the chain, because there's my other side. So you can see it's the same. They look very, very similar. So here is the top of it, and here is the bottom. And you can see how they are the same. Okay, from here, you can do 2 different things. We are going to chain 1. So let's do that again. To chain 1, you are going to take your hook, yarn over, pull it through the loop. And from here, you turn your work. So we were like this, and now we will be like this. Now, you can see how you have this front post in this back post. You're going to take your hook and insert it underneath both. Okay? Let's do that again. So, you have your front, your back, you have your front right here, and you have your back right here. We're going to insert it through both. See? See how you have your front? Now you have your back. You're going to yarn over, go through, yarn over, go through both. Let's do that again. So, insert your hook under that V, insert your hook. Just like that. So this is the working yarn that's already on your hook. And you insert your hook through the V. Okay? Insert it under the V. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's work all the way down. Insert. Insert. Pull up a loop. Pull up 2. Pull up 2. Okay, we're almost to the end of our row, and as you can see, we have 2 left. So we're just going to work them like we have been. So you insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up 2. And this very last one, we are going to insert under both, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Yarn over, chain, turn your work. Now, unless the pattern calls for it, you are not working into your, unless the pattern calls for it, you are not working into your chain. This stitch right here, you're not going to be working into this. You're going to go into this next one. Okay? So we are going to just do the same thing, just back in the other direction. Insert your hook, and you can see there's like a hole right there. Can you see that? That hole? That's where you're going to insert your hook. And then it goes over those 2 loops. You're going to yarn over and pull that yarn through. Yarn over again and pull through 2. You just keep on working down. Now this is something that I wanted to show you when it comes to single crochet. So you have our tail down here. So this is how you know this is going to be your chain, right? Because there's your tail. There is your slip knot right here, and here's your chain. Okay? So this first row, and then here is the second row, and then here is the third row. Well, how can you tell a difference between? So if you see, here is your slip knot, okay? And the end of your slip knot. So we know that this is the beginning, okay? And you have to work down, and then we worked back, and then we worked back this way, and then up, and then worked this way. But you're like, well, you've been working and working and working, and now you have something that's maybe like this long, right? Like a foot long. You're like, oh, I don't know which row I'm on. So from here, what you would do is, do you see how this row right here kind of has this kind of like an upside down V and then a line across it? Let me see if you can see that. So you have this right here, and then you have another one right here across from it, and then you have this one bar going across. That is your second row. You know this because there's your slip knot, there's your chain, right? We had to work back, we chained up one, and then you have this little V stitch right here. So you can see this little V stitch. You have one right here, and then you have this top one. This is going to be your second row. Okay? As long as you have your slip knot down here, okay, that's how you can tell what is your second row. That's the easiest way for me to do it, is I always find where my slip knot is. I know this bottom one is a chain, okay? So I know that this row right here, is row 1. Above it would be row 2 with those little tiny notches up there on the front. Now if you were to flip it over, you see the same thing, but see how that first row has the V and then that, and then the second row doesn't, but then this top row does. So you can see it really well on this top row. See how you have 1, 2, and then this one going across. So you have 1, 2, and 3. So how you can determine is you have the same thing down here on the bottom. So that's how you know that would be your odd rows, is if this bottom row has this little notch on the top, that is row 1, and 2, and then 3. Or you can do like I do and find your slip knot down here on the bottom, and that you know you have to go this way, up, and work back, and then up, and then there is row 2. So let's go ahead and finish this. Let's do a couple more rows, so then that way you can truly see what I'm talking about. Okay, now we have 10 rows. So you can actually see here is our end, here's our slip knot, there is our chain, row 1, row 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So from here, I hope you can see this a little bit better than earlier as far as those loops being able to determine if it is a odd or even row. So as long as your slip knot is in your bottom left corner, okay, you know this is going to be row 1 and then row 2 because you have those little tiny notches right here above the stitch. And you have row 3 and row 4. See those notches? Row 5, row 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you can kind of see those notches a little bit better on row 10. So see how you have the V and then the notch. And this notch is not the 2 that you are inserting at the top of your loop, okay? So you have your V and then your top. So you have 1, 2, let's see the top. As long as your slip knot is down here in the bottom left corner, these notches at the tops of those V's are always going to be even rows. Bottom left, notch at the top, even. If your slip knot is at the bottom right, it is just purely the same. It's just opposite. If your slip knot is to the bottom right, your odd rows are going to have that notch at the very top of the stitch. Let's see how it's in the bottom right. You have the V and then the notch. See? V, notch, none. And so on and so forth. I personally like to do it this way. It's just easier for me to count in even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's just how my brain works. Bottom left, slip knot, cross, chain, then you work back this way, first, second, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Just continue to keep working this for however long that you would like to. I recommend especially if you're new, try to make something small. Maybe work a couple more rows, something like this. Make a nice pot holder for your, like a hot pad, something like that to grab your hot dishes off of, out of the oven, off the stove, anything along those lines. You can do a scarf. It's essentially, you can just do the same thing, just make it as long as you would like. You can do whatever you'd like with the single crochet. It's one of the best stitches, I feel like, and it just works up very, very nice once you get the hang of it. Just keep doing it over and over till you get the hang of it, and then pick up a different stitch. Try to learn that one. But for now, let's just kind of keep doing the single crochet until we get that down, and we'll move on. Thanks again for joining me.